Hey guys, thanks for stopping by. This is fun.
Well, how do you know that everybody's like? Are they still coming in right now?
I hope so.
I can't. You're saying hey guys. You jumped right into hey guys, but you don't even know if one person is in.
Well, at some point when they watch this later,
oh, that makes sense.
They'll hear me say hey guys.
That's true. That's true. I forgot about that. I'm used to everybody doing
it's live, but then it'll be on there forever.
But I'm used to everybody doing their Instagram live things where like just wait and taking time for everybody to come in.
That is why I did the minute timer.
I got it.
That helped a little.
I don't know stuff like I don't know stuff. You do, and that's why we're here with you.
So hey guys.
Hey guys.
Thanks for stopping by. My name's Anita, and I created this channel, Be Healthy and More, to discuss all things regarding being healthy and living a healthy life. And can you hear that?
They might be able to hear you knocking on the table.
And I'm going to be doing videos and live interviews like what I'm doing today on topics such as marriage and relationships, friendships, nutrition, working out, running, emotional and spiritual health. And
all good stuff.
All good stuff.
All good stuff.
And if you want to stay in the loop, make sure to push the subscribe button. You'll be notified anytime I do post a video.
Don't want to miss out on that.
Don't want to miss out.
Good stuff coming.
And I'm super excited about my first live interview.
So am I.
You are?
This is so exciting.
Do you know that you're in it?
I did not know that. I do now. I'll be right back. I got to put on some lip gloss.
She is one of my most favorite people.
Did you have to just read that?
I did.
I like her so much. Well, that's not it. Okay.
And I'm going to read this too.
Okay.
She's fun, energetic, wise, and lovable. But see, I pre-planned this. Those are really good words to say about
They are
you.
Good words, and I love that you wrote it down because you didn't want to miss a word.
Yeah, because a lot of times you turn on the camera and I just go blank. So
right.
I'd rather say what I really think.
Yeah.
And you have quite the story of hope through grief that you share with millions around the world. And you're also one of the greatest communicators I've ever heard. You can hold people's attention for a full hour and a half on the stage all by yourself.
Let's try right now. Okay. I want to tell you a story. I lost her attention in like 3 seconds, so she's not accurate.
And she can sing and dance too.
That she's not lying about. Where am I looking? I'm looking at your word.
Right there is where you want to look.
I need to do this more because I think I was looking at the microphone. She's not lying about that.
Don't look at the microphone.
Oh my gosh.
So, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, welcome my best friend, Tammy Trent.
Did we lose video?
I'm not sure what happened.
Let's just double check that we didn't lose connection, everybody. If you can still hear us, hang tight with us. This is Anita's
Why would it do that?
first attempt at this. So we are going to just double check why it would only give us an intro and then say, you're done.
I don't know. There, we're back.
We are back.
So if that happens, I may just have to turn it. Not sure why it went off.
Weird.
You know what? It could be a setting in my camera because it's been on for a long time. So
user error?
The user error.
So would that keep doing it?
Well, it's been on a long, long time, so we should be fine.
Okay.
But if it does that again...
Good, guys. Sorry, can you edit that out? Where it was just black and they didn't know what we were doing? I mean, I was running around the table and juggling that whole time and they didn't even know it.
They didn't even know it.
Well, leave it in there.
That's all right. It's part of live TV.
Yes.
That's right.
Absolutely.
But I thought we would start this out by showing one of my most favorite music videos of yours. It's my favorite song probably that you sing called Welcome Home.
Aww.
Do you want to tell them a little bit about it?
I love this song too, first of all. When people ask me if I have a signature song, because I signed my first record deal almost 25 years ago, and they'll always ask you about your albums, your songs, and do you have a signature song, one that just absolutely represents you, and when you think of all of your music, that's the one go-to song, and it's this song, Welcome Home. It's just that, that timeless message about the prodigal, and how many of us, wherever we've been in our faith, some of us have been in great places and stayed there, and others have been in places where our faith has been shaken to a point where we have even walked away from God, felt abandoned, been angry, whatever, process through that. This song is for every one of us, but especially for those that have ever been in a place, or if you're in one now where you've sort of walked away and said, I throw my hands up and I'm just done. And this is one of those songs where for me, it was God always reminding me that you've never gone too far. You're never too far out of my reach. You can always come back home. You can always start over again. And the fact that God will always, always welcome you with open arms, where there's no shame, there's no guilt, there's no let's not even rehash that, it's over with. Let's start over today, right now, in this moment. Good. That's what this song is about.
Awesome. Well, here we go. That was fun. I love it. How old were you in that?
Honestly, I feel like that's very personal information. Oh my goodness. So that was my first video. We were just talking about that off camera. It was shot in film. I felt super felt super special. And that was in 1997 or 8. What would that make that? How many years ago is that?
1997 or 8. I thought it was 95. Oh no, that was your first. That was.
I know somebody right now watching is
Yeah.
like, these girls are stupid. Like that I couldn't figure out the math. 1990. Let's say 8. 23 years ago.
Gosh.
So I was.
You must have been a baby.
I was
back then.
30. I was 30. Yeah, I mean, I looked
Did
really
you
young.
just count?
I did. I
I
was
saw it.
count on my fingers. Or who else counts on their fingers? Yeah, I was about 30 years old. So yeah, it was a special time for sure in my life. Love that video. Thanks for playing that. That was fun.
I
Thank
know.
You. Thank you.
Well, I thought I wanted to have you on tonight.
Yes.
That sounds official. I want to have you on tonight to talk about the topic of friendships.
Okay.
And the importance of having good, solid friends in our lives and why that's important.
Okay.
And how you can even recognize those who aren't good.
Oh,
as
the
friends in your life.
red flags.
Yes.
Ooh.
And I know. I think we can talk well about this because our friendship that we have together is an important part of both of our lives.
Yes.
For a long time. And I thought it'd be fun to start out with, when I travel with you all over and at events, one of the biggest questions we get, most asked questions is, how did you two meet? So I thought you would like to share that.
Why do I have to share it?
Because you're better.
I always put it on Anita. Like when we're in the car and they ask, like, how did you guys meet? I'm always like, Anita, it's your turn, even though it's probably my turn. But yeah, gosh, I'm so grateful for friendship, especially with the journey that I've traveled. And my goodness, my life just took an entirely different, it took on a different path about 20 years ago for me. And wow, have I needed friendship in my life, especially in those early days for me, walking through grief and walking through loss. And you were one of those people that God handpicked to place into my life to, number one, walk out healing with me and to help bring me back to life and finding and understanding what joy was like, new adventure, new friendship, all of those things. And I can look back now and see the hand of God doing that, but he puts you into my life you early on. And my husband was killed tragically in a scuba diving accident, September 11th, 2001. And before that accident, you had met him. You were working with him on some website stuff, and I had hardly known. You probably knew him more than
I did.
You knew me.
Yeah.
And so when he tragically died, I was in Michigan. I was in Jamaica when the accident happened and made my way back to Michigan, our hometown. And you had hopped on a flight with a few people from Nashville and made your way to that funeral. And it wasn't until I came back to Nashville to begin to put the pieces back together in my life that I realized and found out that you were somebody that was at the funeral, basically showing up to say, I'm here, I'm available. Even just being able to say as a friend, I'm available is huge. We have different kind of friendships in our life. I have friendships where people are available. I have other kind of friendships where they're not available often, where it's a little more effort in that friendship or relationship, whatever. But I'm so grateful for the relationship that God gave me and you that was very effortless and very available. So you made yourself available. And I knew at that time, like, there's something special here. And I wanted to pour into your life because I felt like you had already begun to pour into my life. And that began a journey of a very beautiful, beautiful friendship through so many years that started with just that moment of you saying, I'm available to you. That's it. And we're done. And take one.
Well, I also think back on that and think how God put those pieces together knowing what was going to happen. Like, you know what I mean? How it even came about that I started helping you guys out.
I know.
I
know.
I love how that happens. And it's like God orchestrated all those pieces together. And then all of a sudden it took me also saying, I'm here to help. I'm available.
Absolutely. And I think the beautiful thing is that we didn't force anything. So many times people also try to force different setups in our lives, whether it's job opportunities, friendships, or whatever agendas we might have. And I find that when we have no agenda, when we're not trying so hard, when we just allow God to do what he wants to do as well, and just make ourselves available and step into whatever and be completely just open to whatever he might want to do in your life or where he might want to take you, when it's effortless, it just makes sense, and it just comes together. And I think we both were in that place where I was broken, I was hurting, I was trying to heal, and you just made yourself available. And there were times, and I know I've said that word a number of times now, but it's really what happened. And I'd get on the phone with you, and I remember just sometimes I just didn't want to be alone because I felt very lonely. And so many of us fight that lonely feeling and feel, especially when we're alone and single. I felt that. I remember calling you a few times just saying, can you just go to dinner tonight? And I remember so many times, Anita, you just dropping whatever it was you were doing. You're like, I'll be there in 10 minutes. I'll be there in 15 minutes. I was like, she's my person. She's my friend. And that just began a fun journey of, traveling the world, seeing some things we've never seen before, going to some places we've never gone before, and then leading up to a place of being able to minister together. Or me losing the love of my life, who walked out ministry with me every single time I got onto a platform, every plane I got onto, every minute he was right there with me. Now that was gone from my life. And how cool for us now to look back and see how God had handpicked you to begin to walk that out too. But it started with friendship, like this solid friendship that was unmovable no matter what. Because we've certainly had many times where we've been like, oh, you make me so mad, and
Well, I think
mostly me.
Yeah.
We've weathered the storm.
Well, I think when I've been working for you for over 18 years now, and so we have obviously traveled the world, and when you're that close together, you become even more like sisterhood.
Oh yeah.
And so you get to a point where you're able to just let it all out. And
it's like that sisterhood, and you probably know this too for sure, is like it connects you in a deeper way, where you are allowed to you're in a safe
I know you're
place.
not gonna walk away, or I'm not gonna walk away if you just had it with me that day and you're like, tell me about it.
It's the safe place. It's a safe place that you create, where you can be totally authentically yourself. And you're exactly right, that somehow we got, and it wasn't immediate, but we obviously got to that place of absolute trust in our friendship as well, that if I've had a bad day, you heard all about it, and you were there to walk those days out with me. So friendship is massive. It's huge. We've experienced it. We're grateful for it. And my prayer is always that somebody on the other side, if you're sitting there also just thinking like, I don't have that. How do I even find that? Where do I get that? And one thing I think to have great friends, you have to know and learn how to be a great friend. Do you know what I mean? I'm drawn to people like mind, people that are spiritually minded, like myself, that care about the things of God, that love adventure, that love life, that are living authentically, that are not under the law of religion, those kinds of things. So I'm drawn to those kind of people. Now I have lots of friends, but I have a small circle that I do life with, and you're one of those people. So if I want to have great friendships, I've had to learn how to be a great friend. If I want a friend that knows, that is a great listener, I too have to learn how to be a great listener. Shut up.
You're growing. You're growing in that area.
I'm a work in progress. But you know what I'm saying? Some people, are just, they're all the negative. And there's nothing, they're always the negative, and everything's down, and they're always just, nothing is good enough. And then and I don't have any friends. And sometimes I'm like, because maybe people are having a hard time hanging out with you. Yeah. And, I want to be around people that bring life and speak life and live life and are filled with joy. Some of those things we talked about before as well. And it doesn't mean that you don't go through moments where you're just like, I'm having a bad day and I'm not happy and I don't feel adventurous today. I'm not saying that. I'm talking about a balanced life, but somebody in general where their DNA itself is one where you feel drawn to it. Yeah. So.
Yeah, and I was just sitting here thinking that, I'm more, you are definitely the more higher, what would you even call that? More energetic, higher personality, Yeah. I'm more in the middle. Yeah. So it's definitely important for me to have more people like you in my life, because you draw that out of me. If I have the opposite, if I have someone that is more down, more drama, more whatever, because I'm in the middle, I'm going to start to go more towards that way. They're going to draw that out of me. So that's why that can be an unhealthy thing for me, because that's going to start to draw out the negative stuff out of me. Yes. But you draw all the fun and the high energetic and helped me to grow in those areas. Like this, a year ago, I'd be freaking out to be on camera right now, but you helped me because you're here bringing it out of me.
You do so good, Anita. You are so gifted with all of this and have so much to say. Your words, I find great value in them. They hold a lot of weight. You're a woman of few words, but the words that are there and how you process things in our friendship even, it has a lot of weight and a lot of meaning and a lot of depth. And I'm very grateful for that. We are opposite in a lot of ways, but just like I talked about a moment ago, there is a light about you though. And that's what I'm drawn to. And I love having a friend that will laugh at everything I do. You're quick to laugh, you're quick to have fun, but you love the adventure, you love all of those things. So even though we're different in a lot of ways, our path is the same. Like we're heading in the same direction.
We're like-minded.
Yes, and that's the thing with certain, you've got to find friends that are like-minded, heading in the same direction. Even if you are a little opposite, but heading in the same direction with the same goals and the same, like we talk about being healthy, that stuff matters to us too. So we work out together, we walk together, we eat together a lot of times because we work together. So when her husband's gone traveling or not home at night, she's, we'll go work out real quick and then maybe let's go grab something to eat or come to the house. And like tonight we roasted vegetables together. We just kind of brought from both our homes whatever we had left and threw it in the oven and we roasted stuff. But you've got to just, when you think about doing life together, just not just friendship, but also healthy-minded friends. And our path is like-minded when it comes to health as well. And you've really helped me with that. And you're very involved with plexus and I don't know as much about that as you do, but you would tell me this is what you need.
And you take a couple things.
I know. Yeah. I mean, you worked me for a while, and now I'm taking the multivitamin, and I've taken the collagen because I'm trying to look young, trying to look very ageless. I don't know if it's working. But I love that about you, Anita, that you also, as your best friend, you care about my health, and that means a lot to me. That you haven't had an agenda to try to sell me something to better yourself. But you wanted to sell me something and educate me on some things so that I can better myself. Yeah. And I appreciate that about you and all that you bring to my life in all the healthy ways that you bring great goodness. So
thanks.
You're welcome. Wow. This is so fun. Say something nice about me.
Well, that actually was going to bring me to my next question.
Okay.
What is your favorite, what is our favorite thing about each other to do with each other?
Oh, wow.
What is it about me that you just love to do?
Oh my gosh.
I'll tell you mine.
Okay. You're probably going to have a great answer because you probably thought about this.
Actually, I haven't.
You haven't?
Well, there's a lot going on today.
We've had a busy
Thank you very much.
Busy day in the office. A little bit of a headache right here.
Yeah. Yep.
You know what's funny? I mean, honestly, when you ask me that question, the very first thing that comes to my mind is that I love doing anything with you. Really. Like we could have the most disastrous thing happen as we're traveling. And yeah, we might just kind of kick and scream a little bit. But by the time we finally get on our flight, heading to our destination at 3 o'clock in the morning, we've missed the platform or we've missed something or so many flights. Somehow we'll find giggle in it. Somehow we'll find a moment, and somehow we find a way to redeem a bad situation. And I think what we always say is, at least we're together. We have each other. We can make a good memory, and it's a laugh. But it could be the worst of situations like that we go through together. I love taking a great trip with you, great adventure, because we travel well together as well. We travel great. I'm a good leader. I could say that, right?
You are. You're a great leader.
I don't mind leading. I love it when somebody else wants to lead. But if there's nobody in the group that wants to lead, or you're not really wanting to take charge, then I have no problem jumping in. And I'll find the hotel. I'll research the restaurant. I'll find something really special for us. And then it becomes a joy for me, like for you to walk into that hotel room and go, wow, this is amazing. Then I'm like, yes, she loves it. And then I love it. And then there's a new experience for us and a new adventure. But truthfully, without going on and on, I love doing anything with you. For real, like today we had to run an errand. You could have run it by yourself, but I'm like, I'll go with you. Why? Because I also don't want to be alone. You're good company. Find people in your life that are good company, that you just want to be with. And you are one of those in my life. So I love doing absolutely anything with you. But my favorite is like Italy or Rome.
Right.
Italy or
Yes.
Greece.
Those are fun.
Or Spain.
Those are fun.
Yes.
I totally had a thought while you were talking and it went away.
Oh.
It was a really good one too.
Was it?
Yes.
Oh, let me try to find it for you. It's up there. It's up there someplace. I'm sorry. I probably took it away from you.
No.
Well, let me ask you. What is your most favorite thing when you think about hanging out with TT? Like, what's your most favorite thing? What's your most favorite thing to do with me?
Honestly, I would have to say the same thing. Like, for me, even I'm a girl that just loves getting in my sweats, turning on a movie,
My sweats.
turning on a movie, and just
Yes,
hanging
you
out,
are.
not even saying a word.
That-
It's one of my favorite things.
Sorry.
I mean, which I don't really have to because you're saying all of them.
no, Anita's not a huge talker, and I am, so that's probably rare for you to if you're hanging out at my house.
To actually say a word.
to get in your sweats and not say a word because you're gonna hear. I'm drawing it out of you all the
Oh
time.
yeah, you're always asking me
usually-
questions.
She usually looks at me when she's had enough and goes, shh. That's a bit shh, and I'm like, okay, she's had enough. But I love.
But all that to say, I love just doing. I mean, it's fun to just do nothing with you. As much as it is fun to get in the car and go work out or go to an awesome dinner. You love, going around town and eating at someplace new, and that's fun. I love doing that with you. So I think it's the same kind of answer. It's just fun to do anything.
We are very fortunate,
Yeah.
and we recognize that. We are very fortunate to have the friendship that we have.
Yeah.
We've actually worked at it. It's not something, it might seem that it comes really easy to us to be friends, and I think it did, because again, of the hand of God, that it was such an assignment, a setup from God. He knew and put that together. But we've also put a lot of work into this friendship that we have had for almost 20 years.
Yeah, and any friendship that's worth having is worth putting work into.
It is.
I mean, you should
yes.
put work into it.
Yeah, you should.
You know?
And so we've had some hard seasons. We have.
Yeah.
And we've had better seasons, and more better seasons than we have hard. And when I say seasons, I'm just talking sometimes, a day or a few days. But there's been times where I remember a season where we went a couple weeks without speaking just because, being hurt feelings over something and miscommunication and just like shutting down for a while.
And you got two stubborn people right here too.
Mostly her, but yeah, so it takes work. So we recognize that the friendship that we do have is an absolute blessing, but we have also been very intentional with it. And the same thing goes for you guys. Again, encouraging you, be intentional with your choices in friends, the things you do, all that stuff, and pouring into each other's life. And it's going to take some work. So where do you find friends?
Good question.
Where do you find friends? Obviously, for us, we're church girls, so we found a lot of our friends in church.
Yeah,
we just really have. And you can't use the excuse that I went to church and no one said hi to me on Sunday. You cannot.
Did you say hi to anybody?
Yes. Did you? And I know sometimes we all expect people to reach out to us, and I would love that too. But and there's been many times I've gone someplace too and no one said hi to me, but I don't look at the negative. I'm like, well, you know what? Then let me go say hi to somebody myself. Let me have a connection. And sometimes church people with families and children and stuff, they're moving and they've got things going on and pieces of that puzzle. And so they're a little bit overwhelmed. So then go to a Bible study. Go to a women's group or singles group or a Bible study. I'm telling you, I didn't go to Bible studies, Anita, for a super long time. So first of all, I don't want anybody to tell me where I need to find this in the Bible and I can't find it because I'm supposed to know. So many people I think stay away from Bible studies because they think I know more than I know, but that's the place to go where you actually learn. And I've never experienced that going to a Bible study that anybody ever made me feel stupid because I didn't know or understand something in the Word of God. So when I finally did go a few years ago with you, I was like, this is a great community. It's a great community. So that's a great place to make friends. Also, the gym.
I was just going to say that. Yeah.
The gym is a great place. And not just going to the gym where you're like, I don't know how to work this machine. But every gym, like our Y, has classes. So we got into body pump together a few years ago. That was like an hour-long class, and then it's a bunch of other people in it. It was mostly girls at ours. We ended up getting to know the instructor, the trainer of the class, and now she's one of our greatest friends.
Which I'm going to have her on here to do a live workout with us.
Are you?
Come over here and we can all do a live workout.
You'll love that. She's high energy. If you think I am, she's high energy.
She's the best.
But
she's awesome.
Find places to find friends. Find places and then reach out. Whatever that looks like, you know. So those were two strengths for me was church stuff and getting together with other girls and then just reaching out. And you know, if I felt like people weren't great at reaching out to me, then and even still to this day, I've got a number of friends I haven't seen in a while. I'll go and set on my cell phone and I will text. I'll write out a text like, hey, I'm missing you. We haven't connected in a while. I'd love to get together with you. Shoot me some dates. Let's do it in the next couple weeks. I'm available. I'll literally copy paste that and I will
send it to everybody you haven't talked to in a long time.
To like 10 of my friends that I haven't seen in a year. And it's hilarious when you see, oh, Lisa just texted me back. Oh, Elisa's there. Oh, Linda's there. You know, Melissa, I'll be, and I love it. And I will literally, there was one time when I felt lonely, Anita, a few years ago. And someone said, well, call some friends. Anybody would get together with you. Just call somebody. I was like, you know, you're right. I mean, people don't know we're lonely unless we tell them we're lonely. People don't know what we need unless we express and tell them what we need. Just so as true. God does not know, well, he does.
He does know.
That didn't work. But
God does know.
He does, but he wants relationship with you. So he wants what I meant to say was that even to go before the Father and say, here's my heart, Jesus. This is what I'm going through. And even though yes, he's fully aware, he still wants that relationship where you come to him.
It's like you going to your parents
my gosh,
someone who you love and saying how you feel.
But just make an effort. You got to make an effort. What is it you want, you know? You want relationship? Would you need that with sisterhood or, you know, even the opposite sex where you're single and looking for a relationship? Like, I don't know. But, you know, if you see a red flag, make sure that is a deal breaker in your life.
And so talk more about those red flags. What are some things, besides we talked about the negative and the heavy maybe drama, but what are some of those red flags that you could be like, this is not someone who I should have in my life?
You know, okay. So I don't want to sound overly spiritual, okay? So I'm just going to speak for myself right now, okay? I'm not going to speak for somebody else. I don't know where you're at, but I'm going to speak for me and what's important to me. A red flag to me, because it's important to me, is a man that is not walking with God.
So you're talking about in dating relationships.
In a dating relationship for me. Now that's not a red flag for me to say he's a bad person. He's just not right for me. So that's a red flag. So if I've met a guy and said, let's go for coffee, you know, if I don't know anything about him and I was attracted to him for one, and you know he wasn't 27. You know, but if I was attracted and thought, okay, I'll take a chance and just kind of go to coffee and meet this guy. But in my conversation with him, if we were just talking about life and just stuff, and then I picked up on the fact that he doesn't sound like he's a believer, or it doesn't sound like he's a church guy, or just really cares about that. And he's cussed a few times, and he said a few stronger cuss words and stuff like that. I don't think this is a great. It doesn't align. It does not align with who I am and what my principles are, or just what my vision board is for what I want in my life. I could apply that to me meeting for coffee with a girl that says, you know, I want to become, you know, I want to get to know you and hang out with you, and you know, just someone that, you know, we've had that so many times too, Anita, where we've gotten, you know, messages from girls like, I'm in town, would you like to meet me for coffee? And and I'll do that from time to time too. But I guess what I'm just saying is even with I've had different girlfriends in my life too that wanted to hang out more and do more things, and it did not align also with me. Maybe there were the negative like you talked about, or just there was something toxic about it, and I was like, I don't want to invest my time in this. I want to invest my time in stuff that really matters, and relationships that really matter to me and that are producing life to me. So a red flag for me isn't saying someone's bad, but for me,
it just doesn't align with who you are and who
it doesn't
you
align.
Need and what you need.
Yes. So for me, first of all, if I were to open myself up to dating a guy, number one priority to me is that he cares about the things of God. I want to know that he's a man of faith.
Yeah.
And I'm not asking for perfection in your walk with Jesus and like you're, living a sinless life, although that's the goal. But you know what I'm talking about, right? So that's a red flag for me if it doesn't align with my beliefs and my principles.
And honestly, too, just to fit it into the topic of friendships is, a dating relationship. The best dating relationship to even get into is one that starts as being friends.
Yes.
Because you're finding it is someone who aligns. That's how you really learn if there's someone that worked for you, is by just building a friendship with them.
Absolutely. And if we're being honest, I mean, so many of us skip friendship and we go right into intimacy. Yeah. So that's another important thing for me. Yeah. It is, how do they feel about those things, And so maybe you learn those things in a dating relationship, down each time you go out on a date or something like this. Yeah. But I look for those things too. Yeah. There's a number of other things for me that are red flags, but for me, it's just, it is, I think it's his relationship with God. That's number one. And then he can't have hair on his back. That's a red flag. If you're a super hairy guy, I can't do that. That's a red flag. With other people, for me, it's just sort of that narcissistic personality is a deal breaker.
Everything's about them.
That is a huge red flag. Yeah. I don't know who it doesn't matter who it is.
Friendship
guy
or dating
girl,
relationship.
Friendship, dating. When you are a narcissist, I will run as fast as I can run. Now, I've been in the middle of narcissistic friendships where I didn't recognize it at the time. Now I recognize it more. So now when that flag goes off, I'm fully aware of it. And I'm telling you, it'll only take one narcissistic friendship or relationship with somebody where you're like, what just happened there? And how did I get into that? And so I've learned that years ago, and that's a red flag. And I know how to identify that in somebody now and how to stay away from that stuff. Yeah. So. Anyway.
Yeah, and in fact, I was just thinking, one of the most things I love about you and why you're such a good friend for me is the complete opposite of being narcissistic, which is you're extremely helpful. Aww. So I think that's such a good thing to find a friend. Like there'll be times I'm here working at the office, and I've got a lot to do. I've got a ton of stuff to get done, and I know one day you went out and washed my car for me. You completely detailed it. Like your neighbor was like, What did you do for her to detail your car?
I had like WD-40 on the engine. I was like,
the
hood was up and I was like, shh. That's when he was like, what's going on over here? I'm like, oh, I love that, Anita, but I it's because, again, I care about you so much. Yeah. And I think when we also, in relationships, whatever it is, learn to take our eyes off of ourselves often. You don't have to do it all the time, but often, and then put somebody else's needs first. I find so much joy in seeing you happy, or my sister happy, or my mom happy, and I think if there's any way that I can help lighten your load, or my sister's load, or my mom's, or the people I care about, if I can lighten someone's load, count me in. That's a part of my DNA. I find so much joy in that, in giving and loving well, and just being present in the moment. And that is the greatest gift I could give somebody as a friend, is being in the moment, being ever present, being available. And that is a gift that I hope that you see for yourself as well. You are valuable. You are worth it. You are worth having great relationships in your life. You're worth having great friendships. You are worth being healthy-minded, mentally, spiritually, physically, all of that. You are worth it all. So don't stop for a moment and just settle where you're at. If life feels hard, if you feel lost, if you feel abandoned, if you feel unhealthy, if you are fighting thoughts of suicide or anxiety, whatever that is, stop for a moment and lay it all down. Write a vision board. What are some things you're wanting to achieve this year in your life? You're wanting to become more healthy. Well, then how do you do it? Write it down first and then make a plan. You're praying for friendships in your life, something that God has given us. Then write it down and make a plan. Be intentional about being the friend first that you want in your own life. Whatever those things are, be intentional with it. Grab that vision board and write that down and then move in that direction. Don't just then speak about it and, I wish. Do something about it. Make some intentional choices and steps every single day, even if they're little, to move in that destiny for your life and all that God has for you, which is to live a faithful, rich, fun, adventurous, abundant life. It's available to you, so don't settle for less in any area of your life. Amen?
Amen.
Where do I subscribe? Where do I subscribe?
That was good.
Good. Are we done?
See the word? Remember I said wise? That was a lot of wisdom right there.
Wow. Do you have that recorded so I can go back and listen?
Yes. That was actually a great way to kind of bring this to a close, too.
I tried to. Did you pick up on it?
I did. I picked up on what you...
She's picking up a little slow. Yes.
Well, thank you
You're welcome
for being here tonight. This was fun.
Yeah, this was really a lot of fun. I love you so much. You're such a great friend, Anita. So grateful to you. And thank you for this opportunity just to, I hope it's helped somebody. Yeah. I don't know. You know, sometimes I know it's hard being on the other side when you hear someone that's talking and it appears that their life is so great and it's not the case. Life has been hard for both of us, very hard, and we have fought hard to come back to life again. And so I hope that they have latched onto that somehow tonight, that the beauty of that you can come back to life again in any area of your life. If you're struggling today or tonight or wherever you are right now watching this, that God is still capable of bringing miracles into your life, restoring your life, bringing healing. It takes work. It takes surrender on our part, but God's capable of it. It doesn't matter where you're at spiritually or on your faith walk. You could be just starting something. You could be like way beyond where I am at in my relationship with Jesus, or you could be going, I've never even heard so much about spiritual stuff, and I'm kind of curious. So if you're there also, message us. Send us a message. We'd love to pray with you. We'd love to tell you about the faith that we hold on to so tightly, tell you about the hope that we have, that we believe the greatest hope that we have comes from our relationship with Jesus. So if you have questions, you want to message us, do that, and we will respond. And we'd love to somehow, even if a little bit, pour into your life so that you can keep moving forward. Thanks for joining us today on this podcast.
Awesome. Well,
bye, guys. Much love.
See you later.